Hey there, folks. Coming back at you with a bonus video. Yes, that's what happens when I have an extra day. And, we talked about the fact that I had, for my 4% scan, so many names that were in the oil and gas sector. I mean, there was oil and gas, there was shippers, there were some mineral, but it was just dominated by oil and gas. So, what I wanted to do is I wanted to go through that 148 list of stocks, do a little bit deeper dive, and see if I couldn't narrow my focus on the stocks that I like most within the list. And I will caution you that some of these names are paying extremely high dividends and could be looking at a dividend cut. If that happens, they're going to get whacked, very similar to what happened to KMI. So you need to be a bit cautious. So I kind of just narrowed it down to things I was looking at because I liked the chart. I was looking for potential follow through, round number rolls. You know how I like those, and then also um, insider buying activity and really better, let's just say comparatively to a lot of the companies in the sector, relatively decent balance sheets in comparison. So first, let's go ahead and get started. This one is had some insider buys, from 407 to 699. It's coming up into this trend line. It had this big pop, and I believe that's probably what made this thing pop, is the announcement of some insider buying. Came up into this trend line. You're at the $8 holla. It closed above 8, looking for a potential continuation with some volume on a crack over this trend line. Trading below book value. I believe book value is somewhere in the $11 range, but it does have an extremely high dividend yield. So I would be looking to take this one potentially for a day trade, maybe a short-term swing, depending on what kind of volume came into it. But like it is on the radar. ATLS, this was fairly interesting. Leon Cooperman has an over 10% position in this name. I like $1 rolls. They can be very powerful. It looks like maybe it's kind of found its bottom. Looking for it to take out one with conviction. This would strictly be a day trade. I'm not looking to take this one as a swing. I'm just looking for a potential $1 roll. It's got a small float too, so worth keeping an eye on that ATLS. EVEP. Another one that I would be looking for strictly as a day trade, what I'm looking for is basically a $3 roll with conviction, round number roll, thin stock, and it just does pay an extremely high dividend, so it could be one of those names that could get hurt if they cut the dividend. XCO, this stock, one director just keeps loading the boat on this stock and actually did another buy of 509,000 shares at $1.22 on December 30th. I don't think he's picking up shares for a 10-cent move. I think he's picking up shares for a much larger move, and where this thing really needs to get above is $1.40. It needs to break $1.40 with serious conviction. But I would be almost inclined to try and grab this thing if it were to pull back down to $1 or so. I think I would take a lotto swing in this. And I will be looking for it to potentially break out over $1.40 for a potential trade if it's got some conviction behind it, day trade. ECR, it's trading below book value. It's got a reasonable looking balance sheet. What I'm looking for is a potential $2 roll, a break of this trend. I think you get up into the $2.33 range. That's a pretty big move from where it currently sits, right, percentage wise. And I think it's worth having on the radar. So ECR is another one that I like. NGL, insider buys. from $12.97 up to $14.31. I kind of like the setup here. I think, if you can take out 12 with conviction, this one could get up into this $14 range, somewhere around there. It's a nice little move from where it currently sits. And if I'm not mistaken, hold on, NGL. No, I don't know. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Let me see here real quick. Smaller float, 34 million shares, or no, I'm sorry, 97 million shares. So it's 100 million shares in the float. It's, fairly small float on that NGL. CRK, dollar, this one's got pretty clearly defined stop, right? Right around, $1.59. You put your stop at $1.59. Looking for a potential $2 roll on this bad boy. There's been some insider buying from $1.99 to $2.80. So this one is fairly compelling, fairly intriguing to me, this CRK. SM, insider buying at 24 or 2304, 10,000 shares. That's fairly decent insider buy. Looking like maybe we could be flirting with a double bottom, right? I mean, this is kind of a stretch, but I do like the look of this SM. I'm looking for, oops, let me go back there. Where'd it go? I'm looking for a 20 roll is what I'm looking for. 20 test, 20 roll on this SM. And I do like the fact that you had some insider buying in the 23 range. PAGP, insider buys from $7.40 up to $11.09. They do have lots of debt, but, I think you get a 10 test and maybe take out, if we can take out 10 with conviction, I think you can get up into the 1075 range, somewhere in that range. That's over $1 move in PAGP. GPOR, there aren't any insider buying. There isn't any insider buying on this one, but I do like it for a potential 25 roll. And it could have a long way to travel just to get back up to this trend line up here. But let's say, it doesn't even come close to the trend line, but we can break over 25 with conviction. I think potentially you could come up and test somewhere around this 2872 area. NRG, very thick stock, very, very thick stock. Potentially looking at a 12 roll. There has been some insider buying from $8.83 up to $13.07. So, for a 12 roll, I think it could be an interesting play. Like I said, it is a very thick stock, so be aware of that. It could be a slow mover. SXCP. This is a cold name. Extremely high dividend in this name. But I kind of like this formation that we've got going on here. Big pop, consolidating, right below the, I think we could get an $8 test out of this. That's 50 cents. But, just to come back up into this trend line, it could come up into the $9 area, which is fairly compelling. There wasn't any insider buying going on there, but it does have a decent look on the daily for a break over 7. So we want to see a break over 750 with some real conviction. CEQP, tremendous amount of insider buying in this thing, and it just did a reverse split, 1 for 10, right? So they shrunk the float, and you've got a tremendous amount of insider buying. I like this pattern that it's building, right? It had this little pop, this little run. It's been consolidating, looking for it to take out 21 bucks with conviction. Take out that trend line. Think you could potentially get a pretty nice pop in this CEQP. DMLP. So $10 roll. Day trade, kind of what I'm looking at here in this DMLP. Looking for a $10 roll. I mean, it's in a clear downtrend. This would strictly be a day trade. I'm not looking to play this for a swing, but it is worth keeping an eye on it for a 10 test and roll. BWP, a $13 roll. Insider buying at $12.91, 20,000 shares. Looking for a 13 roll. You know, this is one that has already cut its dividend, actually. So you don't have any threat there. I think it could actually go up and test somewhere around 14 bucks. It's $1. SSE, recent insider buys, $1.11 up to 204. It seems to be holding in this area, right? Looking for a trend line break. Looking for some volume to come into this thing. I like it. It's it got a high short interest, small float. So this one is definitely on my radar. What else we got going on here? SEMG, another oil and gas name. There aren't any insider buying, but I just kind of like the way this one is setting up. It had a little pop. It's been consolidating. Looking for it to take out the $29 holla. I think it can come up and test somewhere around that 33, 34 bucks, right? That's a pretty decent little clip. I like SEMG. WPZ, insider buying, $21.07. I mean, it's already had a pretty nice move from where this buy took place. But potential trend line break, potential break over 28 bucks. If it takes out 28, I think you could go test 30. And the last one is KMI, which could be putting in a double bottom. You know, it already has cut its dividend, so you don't have any exposure to that risk. I think this is actually fairly compelling. KMI, more of a swing play than a day trade. And you know, I think if you can get it, you know, somewhere around 14.20 or something like that, it could be a nice little pickup. And that's it, folks. That is the bonus video of stocks to watch in the oil and gas, shipping, and mineral sector. I hope you guys find something good in there. Okay, that's it. I will see you guys next week. Oh, hey, you know, by the way, that Saudi Arabia thing really has kind of escalated, and I think it's going to be interesting to see how that impacts the markets and impacts oil. I think that's something to pay attention to. So, okay, that's it. I've got to go watch my Cleveland Browns lose their last game and then watch the coach get fired and the general manager and start all over again. It's been a totally awesome football year. Okay, talk to you later. Bye.